Welcome back, everyone, to the Album Quest. This is where we dig into the search for the best album of all time, all based on the rankings from our source, Greens to Rocks.
Exactly. And we're not just, reading out results. We're really trying to unpack the thinking behind it all. What makes one album great and another just good in this specific context? It's fascinating.
It really is. The whole setup is brilliant. If you're new to the Album Quest, think World Cup style. Albums get randomly put into groups of 4.
Right.
They get listened to back to back, judged pretty harshly, actually, and only the top 2 move on. It throws together some really unexpected combinations.
Totally. And today we're looking at a real clash of styles. Round 2, Group 8, high-stakes stuff.
Definitely high stakes. You got to remember, every album here already won its first round. These aren't just random picks. They've already proven something.
Yeah, they're survivors. They made it through that first cut. So this round, Group 8, it really forces some tough calls between, completely different ideas of what makes music work.
Okay, so let's lay out the contenders for this Group 8. 4 albums, 4, totally different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You had Clannad with Legend, that sort of Celtic atmospheric soundtrack vibe.
Yeah, very ethereal.
Then Johnny Hayes Jazz, Turn Back the Clock, super polished 80s pop craftsmanship.
Oh, yeah. Instantly recognizable sound.
And then the heavier end of things. Alice Cooper's Goes to Hell, big concept album, shock rock territory.
Theatrical, definitely.
And rounding it out, Alien Ant Farm with Truant, that kind of American alternative rock sound.
So you've got soundtrack moodiness, 80s pop perfection, rock opera drama, and post-grunge alternative all in one group.
It's kind of the perfect storm for this quest, isn't it? It really puts the criteria to the test. Does craft beat concept, does atmosphere win over, heaviness?
We're about to find out exactly what the Album Quest values most in this particular showdown.
Right, but before we jump into who won and lost in round 2, Group 8, we really need to look at how these albums even got here. Their round 1 journeys are, pretty revealing.
Absolutely essential context. Knowing who they beat in round 1 tells you a lot about why they might have succeeded or failed here. Some of these are genuine upsets.
Let's start with Johnny Hates Jazz, since they ended up winning Group 8. Turn Back the Clock came second in its first round, Group 25.
Okay, second place, respectable.
Yeah, but look who they beat to get there. They knocked out Anastasia's self-titled album.
Yeah.
Big deal in the early 2000s.
Right, yeah, she was huge.
And maybe even more surprisingly, they beat Mark Knopfler's Princess Bride soundtrack. That's like beloved film score territory.
Wow. Okay, so an 80s pop album beat a major pop star and a classic instrumental soundtrack. That says something.
It does, doesn't it? It suggests the author found something really special in the songwriting or production of Turn Back the Clock, more than just nostalgia.
Yeah, it implies real substance there. And they only lost out to U2's The Unforgettable Fire in that group.
Which is, fair enough. That's a massive album.
Definitely no shame in that loss. Okay, who's next?
Clannad. Legend. They also finished second in their round 1 group, Group 90.
Right.
And again, the competition they eliminated is just staggering. They beat Madonna's Immaculate Collection.
Hold on. The Immaculate Collection, the definitive Madonna hits package.
Yep, and Andy Crowded House's Woodface. Critically acclaimed, loads of hits on there.
Okay, that's wild. An atmospheric, mostly instrumental soundtrack defeated Madonna's greatest hits and Woodface.
I know. It tells you how much weight the author must place on pure mood and, that mystic feeling Legend creates. It clearly connected on a really deep level.
Must have. That's a huge statement about the power of atmosphere over, hit singles and critical darlings. They lost out to Big Country's Peace in our time.
Another solid album. Okay, now things get a bit weird. Alice Cooper Goes to Hell.
Ah, the Cooper conundrum.
Exactly. It qualified second from round 1, Group 106. But here's the twist. It was an all Alice Cooper group.
Right, so he was only competing against himself. The contenders were Hey Stupid, Goes to Hell, Killer, and School's Out.
So the author had to rank Cooper against Cooper. Which version did they prefer?
And the fact that Goes to Hell, a later, more conceptual album, qualified second, beating out iconic early stuff like Killer and School's Out.
Yeah.
It suggests a preference, maybe, for that more polished rock opera style over the raw early shock rock. Hey Stupid won that group, but Goes to Hell still advanced.
Interesting. It already sets a tone for what the author values.
Yeah.
But the biggest shock, the one that really makes you scratch your head about the whole process.
Has to be Alien Ant Farm.
Alien Ant Farm's Truant. They didn't just qualify, they won their round 1 group, Group 108.
Okay, winning is good, but who did they beat? This is the kicker.
Right. Get ready for this. Truant won by defeating 3 Alice in Chains albums.
Wait, 3?
3, Unplugged, Dirt, and the self-titled Tripod album.
No! Seriously. Dirt, one of the absolute cornerstones of grunge. And Unplugged, which is legendary. How does Truant beat all 3 of those?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it possible the author just got tired of the grunge sound after hearing 3 in a row? Maybe Truant sounded fresh in comparison?
That's one theory. Genre fatigue is real, especially in this back-to-back listening format. Or maybe, just maybe, the author genuinely finds something uniquely appealing in Truant's blend of styles, something that stood out more than the consistent brilliance of Alice in Chains.
It's hard to fathom, but the result stands. It was a massive upset.
The ultimate dark horse victory. It gave them momentum coming into round 2.
But as we're about to see, momentum isn't everything when you face this kind of competition.
Okay, so that massive round 1 win for Alien Ant Farm, well, it didn't carry them through round 2.
Not even close, really. They landed firmly in 4th place. Bottom of the group, Truant.
And this is where the album quest gets brutal. It highlights that just being good isn't enough. You need something unique.
Yeah, the author's critique is sharp. They basically call Alien Ant Farm generic. The quote is, they sound like any one of another dozen American rock acts.
Ouch. And didn't the author specifically double-check the word genericity?
They did. Like, mid-review, they confirmed it's a real word, just to emphasize how perfectly it applied here. It's quite funny, actually.
It paints a picture, though. Truant came out when that post-grunge, alt-metal sound was everywhere. They could play, no doubt about it. The competency was there.
Right, the author admits that. No doubts about their musical competency,
But no killer material. That's the key phrase used. Tracks like Glow, Never Meant, SS. Recognize they're just deemed okay.
nothing that grabs you, nothing that stands out from the crowd.
Exactly. Even the slightly unusual bits, like the hints of ska or reggae or that samba thing on Tia Lupe,
Yeah.
they weren't enough to give the album a distinct personality. They felt like add-ons, not part of the core identity.
So competent but forgettable, basically. In this group, against such strong characters, that's a death sentence.
Pretty much. They rode in on a wave of surprise, maybe even controversy after beating Alice in Chains, but reality bit hard in round 2.
Okay, so that's 4th place sorted. Moving up to 3rd, and this was apparently a much closer fight. Alice Cooper's Goes to Hell.
Yeah, the notes say it pushed the 2nd place album all the way. It was right there.
And this is a fascinating album in its own right. Released 76, his 9th studio album. It's a full-blown concept piece.
Right, it tells a story. This character, the kid, his life, his death, ending up in hell, and that recurring line.
Or was it all a dream, Stephen? Adds that layer of ambiguity.
It's ambitious stuff. The author compares it to the big rock operas, The Who's Tommy, Pink Floyd's The Wall. That gives you an idea of the scale Cooper was aiming for.
And apparently there's even dialogue, like a stage show.
Yeah, on the track Give the Kid a Break, there's literally an exchange between the kid and the devil. It's very theatrical.
Musically, how does it hold up? It's mid-70s Cooper.
It's clever, actually. The author points out this blend of, like, 50s rock and roll riffs as a base, but then layered with those bigger orchestral sounds of 70s rock production. Made it feel quite original for its time.
And the author actually came around on Cooper with this one, right? They mentioned having initially lambasted his earlier work.
Yeah, a bit of a 180, they called it. Found Goes to Hell. Actually, rather good. Which shows the author is willing to revisit opinions, which is good critical practice.
So you've got a well-regarded concept album, originality, strong tracks mentioned like the title track, Wish You Were Here, Guilty.
Yeah.
And the author even changed their mind about Cooper because of it.
Exactly. All the ingredients seem to be there.
Yet it still only made 3rd place. Just missed out. Why?
It seems like the very thing that makes it unique, the concept, the theatricality, the rock opera structure, might have been what held it back slightly in this format.
How so?
Well, maybe those theatrical bits, the dialogue, the narrative focus, maybe they don't quite work as well when you're just listening to it as an album back-to-back with others. Perhaps it felt a bit less musically focused than, say, Clannad's Pure Atmosphere.
So the concept itself, while appreciated, maybe created structural issues for just listening.
That seems to be the implication. It was a marginal loss, remember? But those slight interruptions or shifts in focus inherent in a rock opera might have just tipped the balance in favor of the more seamless, mood-driven experience of the album that came second.
All right, so that brings us to the top 2, the albums moving on to round 3. And it really boiled down to 2 very different kinds of musical achievement.
Absolutely. It's atmosphere versus structure almost, mood versus melody.
Taking that second spot, just edging out Alice Cooper, we have Clannad with Legend.
And the description of this album in the source material is all about feeling. It's mystic and mysterious. It paints pictures, wooded forests, misty lakes, and daring adventure.
It pulls you into a world. It's not just background music.
Exactly. It's immersive. But it is a soundtrack originally for the TV show Robin of Sherwood, and the author acknowledges the limitations that come with that.
Right, things like over-repetition or extended simplicity on tracks like Dark Mirror or Battles, stuff that works fine when it's looping under dialogue on TV.
But can feel a bit thin when you're listening closely to it as an album. That's fair criticism.
So how did it overcome those limitations to beat Cooper?
Through sheer beauty, it seems. The enchanting passages, the moments where the mood just completely takes over. Tracks like Scarlet Inside, Hern, Ancient Forest are highlighted.
Those must have been the moments that provided that crucial emotional edge.
I think so. Those moments of pure, transportive atmosphere outweighed the slight structural issues or the conceptual brilliance of Goes to Hell.
Let's talk about the sound itself. That blend of old and new is key to Clannad.
Definitely. The opening track, Robin, the Hooded Man, uses synths, but not in a cheesy way. They create this powerful emotion and atmosphere, big sweeping sounds.
But then it weaves in the traditional stuff.
Yeah, seamlessly. You get that epic scale from the synths, but then the soul comes from the traditional instruments. The example given is the haunting harp on Lady Marian.
Ah, okay. So that specific fusion, the modern scale, the ancient feel, that gives it its unique power.
Precisely. It created an identity that was totally distinct from everyone else in the group, and that emotional immersion was just enough to carry it into second place.
Gotcha. Okay, so that leaves our number one, the decisive winner of Group 8.
Johnny Hates Jazz, Turn Back the Clock.
And if Clannad won on atmosphere, this album seems to have won purely on, well, being perfectly made.
That's exactly the takeaway. It's about craft. This album is often tagged as a one-hit wonder sort of thing, right? Huge debut in '88 with Shattered Dreams, and they kind of vanished.
Yeah, the author notes that creating something magical and then disappeared into thin air.
But the analysis here goes way beyond the one-hit label. It's called a certifiable celebration of melody and harmony.
Strong words.
And even stronger, a melodic masterpiece of real craftsmanship. That signals a deep appreciation for the technical skill involved.
So let's break down that craft. What specifically makes it a masterpiece, according to the review?
Well, it starts right from the opener, Shattered Dreams. Sets the tone clear, confident, melodic. Then there's the production detail. The use of brass, for instance.
Okay.
It's not just there, it's used specifically to enrich the experience. Adds punch and sophistication, lifts it above standard pop. Think like that polished late 80s sound.
Right. Yeah, I can picture that. What else?
Textural details. On the anti-war song, I Don't Want to Be a Hero, there's mention of a funky guitar bubbling under the surface.
Ah, subtle complexity.
Exactly. It stops it being too smooth. And the piano, sporadic but beautiful ivory tinkling on tracks like What Other Reason and Foolish Heart, adds vulnerability.
So it's not just catchy tunes, it's meticulously put together. Every part serves the song.
That's the essence of it. It's composition. It's why the author uses words like mastery and craft. It relies on precision and perfect execution, not shock value or just general mood.
And the absolute key, the track that seals the deal.
The title track, Turn Back the Clock, synth-heavy, described as a childhood reminiscence anthem. That's highlighted as the centerpiece. It's where the perfect melody, the polished production, and that universal theme of nostalgia all come together.
So it connects on an emotional level too, but through perfectly crafted pop.
Precisely. And that combination, the flawless execution and the resonant theme, is what made it the clear winner over Clannad's powerful, but perhaps less structured atmosphere and takeaways.
Okay, so let's lock in those final rankings for round 2, Group 8 of the album quest. The results are clear.
Number 1, Johnny Hates Jazz with Turn Back the Clock.
Number 2, Clannad with Legend. Those two advance.
Then in third place, just missing out, Alice Cooper with Goes to Hell.
And in fourth place, Alien Ant Farm with Truant.
And looking at those results, the pattern or maybe the author's preference becomes pretty clear, doesn't it?
Yeah, what's the big takeaway here?
Strong, unique identity wins. Johnny Hates Jazz had that perfect melodic craft. Clannad had that undeniable transportive atmosphere. Both had a very clear, well-executed vision.
Unlike Alien Ant Farm, which, despite that surprising round 1 win...
Right, that win feels more like an outlier now. They represented competence but lacked that distinct character needed to compete at this level. They sounded a bit too much like other bands.
And Alice Cooper, Third place feels harsh, given the praise for the album.
It highlights just how demanding this album quest is. Goes to Hell was original, ambitious, even won the author over. But the slight structural awkwardness of the rock opera format, when judged purely as a listening experience against Clannad's seamless mood, was enough to keep it out of the top 2. It was a razor-thin margin, apparently.
So for you listening, what does this group tell us about searching for the best album?
It shows that in this particular quest, things like perfectly executed nostalgia, like with Johnny Hates Jazz, or deeply immersive atmosphere like Clannad, can really triumph.
They beat out albums that were maybe more conceptually ambitious but slightly flawed in execution for this format, like Cooper, or albums that were competent but lacked a unique voice, like Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah, it seems meticulous arrangement and the power to transport the listener emotionally are valued very highly here. Craft and mood were the winning ingredients in Group 8.
And that wraps up our look into the fascinating results of Round 2, Group 8 in the Album Quest.